Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, live the life we love. Monday, um, poem day. This is one I picked up from Dr. Hug Leo Buscaglia. And the early people to remind everybody need at least minimum 8 hugs a day, like vitamins. It's called Pattern Your Life. Pattern your life after the giant bamboo. The exterior, though smooth and lovely to touch, is tough and resistant to the sword. Within, it is soft and pliable, with much empty space for continued growth. It grows neatly, ordered, never cluttered. Alone it rises tall and straight, always upward to the sky. Here it spreads itself to the sun and leans on nothing. It makes its own way, perhaps near each other, perhaps a part of others, but dependent on its own strength and force. So, pattern your life. I guess it brings us back to the whole idea, are we independent? Are we dependent? Are we interdependent? Are we codependent? And all those different games you can play. All right, so integration. I know so many different ways of changing consciousness. The problem is, how do you return to your daily life and the human condition? So it's about intelligence intensification, which must be operative at the critical time when things erupt in your life and you can draw upon this strength and resilience within yourself. Everybody has some form of agitation in their mind that's called vrittis in yoga. And how do you find an organic rhythm to balance, the polarities in life that we all face? The experience is fundamentally the same for everyone. Therefore, it's meant for everyone. How do we experience the self, the big capital S self, the one that's universal, the one that's transcendent, so that our life will have some kind of purposeful unfolding by our connecting to something that is much bigger than ourselves? So one of the phrases I'll be working with over the next couple of weeks is the prover proves whatever the thinker thinks. If the thinker thinks it's sick, the prover will prove you're sick. If the thinker thinks it's well, the prover will prove you're well. It's a simple mechanism. Whatever the thinker thinks, the prover proves. Watch what you're thinking. Now, I come from the generation where, in the 60s, we first started realizing that the hippies, is how I glorify my past with revisionist history, terrified the ruling elite. And so systematically they tried to prevent future upsurges of the radical utopianism that we were pitching by deliberately dumbing down the educational system. Make the constituents stupid and they won't look into stuff. Nonetheless, we're still sticking to the combination of science and direct experience of what I would call the mystical understanding. Science is a group that eventually overrides individual prejudices by empiricism. In the long run, really important. But you'll also find out that your own prejudice, based on the thinker thinks and the prover proves, is if you set out to prove that ESP exists, you'll succeed. And if you set out to prove ESP doesn't exist, you'll succeed also. In fact, the prover will so thoroughly, conclusively prove to you what the thinker thinks that you'll never be able to talk a person out of their belief, even if it's something unbelievably remarkable. I love this one. As if there's a gaseous vertebrate of astronomical heft called God who'll spend eternity torturing people who don't believe in that religion. Can't see through that quickly? So all I can say is I hope that you take away every day a feeling that you don't know everything yet and that you might still have something to learn. And believe that you can exceed all your previous ambitions and dreams, because all models are subject to revision. As we go along, we'll realize that we can continue to meta-program ourselves, realize the programming that's already exists, not buy that program, create a new program, and then realize even the programs we create for ourselves are other forms of limitation. Keep opening up so that there's no limits to what you see you could do in your life. So that's where we are for today. And like I said, we're all spiritual giants who've been raised to think we're material pygmies. And so I suggest that you learn how not to walk in a perpetual mental and spiritual crouch, but unleash your full nature and your total brain power, which will make you loving and wise.